Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Jeff's Baking Blog. Today I'm going to make some savoury biscuits. These are going to be cheese and walnut biscuits, and this is based on a Mary Berry recipe, which I have changed just a little bit. And the change basically is that I'm using ground rice instead of semolina, and that's because I don't have any semolina, but ground rice will work perfectly well, as indeed would fine cornmeal. It's going to give the biscuits that little extra texture in the crunch, basically. So that's really the only change, but these look to be very, very nice biscuits and very easy to make. So with that said, I'll go straight on to the ingredients. And for this I have 75 grams, which is 5 tablespoons plus 1 teaspoon of unsalted butter, which I've cut into dices or cubes. Then I have 30 grams, 2.5 tablespoons of ground rice, or semolina as I mentioned. I have 50 grams, 1/3 of a cup of self-raising flour, and that's based on scooping packed flour into a 250 milliliter cup. If you only have plain flour, use the same amount, 50 grams, and put about 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder into it, and that will be fine. Then I have 15 grams, 2.5 tablespoons of finely chopped walnuts. So that's 5 or 6 walnuts, which I have used a knife to chop up quite finely, but they're going to get finer in a minute when we process everything. I have 50 grams, which is 1/3 of a cup or 3.5 ounces of grated Parmesan. I have 22 milliliters, which is 1.5 tablespoons of beaten egg white. I have 15 grams, 1.5 tablespoons of poppy seeds, salt and pepper for seasoning to taste, and 3 grams, 1 teaspoon of mustard powder. And that's all the ingredients, and everything except the poppy seeds are going to go into the bowl of my food processor on my immersion blender, and we're going to blitz that into a soft dough. And to start off with, I'm going to put my flour the ground rice, the mustard powder, and the walnuts, the finely chopped walnuts, into the processor bowl. And I'm just going to grind a little bit of pepper, not a lot, and a little bit of salt. Doesn't need a lot because there's salt in the Parmesan. And I'm just going to give those a quick pulse to get those combined with each other before I add everything else in. And that's good enough. So then I'm going to put the grated Parmesan in, and my butter, which is cold, and my beaten egg white, and I'm going to process that until it all comes together into a soft dough. And basically that's it. So I'm going to tip that out onto a lightly floured work surface. So with my dough out on a lightly floured surface, I'm going to just squeeze it together, and I'm going to form it into a log, which is about 12 centimeters in length. And that will make a nice thickness or diameter when the cookies are cut. And 12 centimeters is just under 5 inches, about 4¾ inches. And that's about good enough. So then what I'm going to do is I've taken my poppy seeds and I've put them onto a tray. And I'm going to pick up my log and I'm going to roll it in the poppy seeds. And what I want to try to do is get nicely covered. And that's good enough like that. So then I'm going to put that onto some plastic wrap. Like that. And cover it. And I'm going to put that into the freezer. And I'm going to leave it in the freezer for 30 minutes. And that's going to firm it up so that it will be easy to cut into slices. And during that 30 minutes, as that time comes to an end, I would preheat my oven to 200 degrees Celsius, 180 Celsius with a fan, 375 Fahrenheit, and I'll line a couple of baking trays with some parchment paper or silicone mats ready to take the slices of dough for baking. So I'll be back in 30 minutes when we're ready to cut these into slices. My oven is preheating and I've had my dough in the freezer for 30 minutes. So I'm simply going to cut it into thin slices, maybe about 1 centimetre thick each. And mine aren't particularly round, but it doesn't matter. And then I'm going to put those onto a couple of baking trays, and I'll leave a gap between them because they will spread a little bit and they'll rise a little bit as well because of the self-rising flour. And Mary Berry says you'll get 20 and I have 19. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put those into the oven and I'm going to bake them for 13 to 15 minutes until they rise a little bit, spread a little bit, and they go a golden brown on the top. Then I'll take them out of the oven and leave them on the baking trays for a couple of minutes. Then I'll transfer them to a wire rack, and when they've cooled down completely I'll come back and show you the results. I baked the cheese and walnut biscuits for 13 minutes and they coloured nicely, so I took them out of the oven, left them on the trays for a couple of minutes, then I put them onto a wire rack and they've cooled down, so I'll show you what they look like. So they've baked up quite nicely, as you can see. They've taken on a nice colour and they're cooked underneath as well. So I'll have a taste of this one. It's very good. Has a lovely tender crumb to it and just a subtle cheesy flavour. And I don't taste the walnut, but the walnut broken down as we processed it is going to add to that lovely texture as well. So these are a very easy savoury biscuit, perfect to have with a dip of some sort if you want to, or just as a snack, or even, I think, broken up and sprinkled over the top of some soup. So that's going to be it for this recipe. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, please give me the thumbs up below and click to subscribe to my YouTube channel. In the top right hand corner of the screen there'll be an eye that you can click on, and that will take you to a link for the recipe, and I'll put a link below the video as well. And I'll be back with another recipe in the very near future. So until then, happy baking.